Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. Today is February 15th, 2023, a day that, my friends, will live in absolute infamy if you happen to be a member of the radio silence team at Paramount working on Scream 6. This is one of the worst leaks ever, and I am not making that up, folks. Talking unmitigated disaster for the sixth entry in the franchise. We're going to be talking about that, How to Train Your Dragon, and apparently Ben Affleck might be back as Batman. What the fuck? Let's go! Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, I believe, at this point. I'm not, I don't know what day it is anymore. I have kids. They're on midwinter break. It is just, it's a hectic place. And unfortunately, I'm not feeling the greatest today. So this might be a little bit shorter of a show. Definitely no 3.5 hour one like last night. But my God, there is stuff to talk about, especially in regards to hashtag sell Snyderverse to Netflix and hashtag sell ZSJL to Netflix, because the people who are behind that particular movement, that particular, toxic positivity bullshit nonsense, they thought that they had a person in their corner last night. They thought that they had a person in their corner that they could use as a marketing tool. They could use as a beacon of light to guide the flock through the onslaught of reality and take them to the promised land of the Snyderverse being over there at Netflix. When in reality, what it likely was, someone just like vying for a gig at another studio. It is just hysterical. We will be talking about the Scream leak as well. Duwan here says, damn, I wish I would have seen that leak. Dude, you can find it. I found it and I wasn't even looking for it. All right. I wasn't even looking for it. I was trying to find an article on what's going on with this, but unfortunately there's really not much that's being like talked about in regard to that, however weird that might be. Cause there's a big leak and I'm trying to find like more information about it, like how exactly it happened. But, it's definitely, a hell of a situation that I think is even at this point, locking down the, certain elements. Certain things are being currently locked down over there at the subreddit, which again, I'll bring up and everything else as we get into that particular segment. But let me just chit chat here with the chat for a few, see how you guys are doing. We got Roman here. What's up, man? Patrick says, I go to bed. I don't care about leaks, the Flash film, and Mario, lots of money. Yes, that I agree with you. Both of those movies are going to make a lot of money. Absolutely tonight. Oh yeah. So I just want to let everybody know, by the way, that if you are a fan of old school slasher films and you like Patio commentary, the My Bloody Valentine episode dropped. That is up right now over on the channel, youtube.com/Patio commentary. It's a good episode. Be sure to check it out. Also, Megan is up there. That came out earlier this week, and Plane will probably be dropping next week. It'll be dropping early next week, although I might be diving into one first because I actually just got done rewatching probably what I feel is one of the best movies that I have seen in quite some time. And that, of course, is very much the recently released animated film Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Literally just got done watching it tonight with my family. It was my second time watching it, their first time watching it. And my God, that movie got better the second time I watched it. And this is one that I have on digital. So the fact that this movie just today crossed $400 million worldwide, and yesterday it was at $393 million worldwide. It's now crossed the $400 million mark. It's doing quite well. It will be on 4K UHD and Blu-ray in 2 weeks. So it comes out February 28th on home video, and I expect this movie to slay. I expect it to slay exponentially on the home video market, guys. This is one that this movie's so goddamn good. I think is really what I want to say. This movie is exceptionally good, and cannot wait to watch it again. I just love the Shrek franchise. And so if you haven't seen Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, I'll be talking about it in an episode of Podio Commentary pretty soon, probably more towards the release of the movie on home video, but it's definitely one worth watching. Check out any way you can. I can't recommend it enough, to be honest with you. So there is that. I just wanted to start off talking about that one there. Let's see. Juwan here says, I might have to stop my membership for a while because I still have to get a PS5. Well, hey man, listen, I understand. I get it, dude. I understand. There's you gotta spend your money how you want to spend your money. All right. Like you got to spend your money how you feel it's the best way to spend it. If you got to pause it for a while or forever because you want to go get a PS5, I can't fault you for that one. PS5s are a good machine. I want to get an Xbox Series X. So there you go. By all means. Rational here says PS5 is trash, get a gaming PC. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to PC gatekeepers. Okay. PC gatekeepers are the worst. The PC, we finally did away with the PC master race people, because that was a big thing like a decade ago. And that finally died down, when console games started to outperform PC games in regards to absolute performance upon release. Yeah. Batman Arkham Knight, I'm looking at you. All my PC gaming friends are like, I can't play Batman Arkham Knight. And me on my PS4 on launch night. Oh, what you know, homies? I'm playing the game. Now, I will say though, on that particular subject, what sucks about consoles is that if you buy a disc version of a game, which you probably should just for the physical copy part of it, you got to get that day one patch. That takes forever, especially if you get it, you go home at midnight, you pop it in, and it takes 2 more hours to download. You're not going to be able to play that before going to bed, So that part sucks. Whereas if you pre-order it digitally, you get the day one update patch early on, and they just unlock it when it's time, and you're ready to go. So there's pros and there's cons, but it's really just for like accessibility right off the damn bat. Anyway, as for the question about the leak, is it an Adriana Chechik size leak? I don't quite know what you mean by that. I think I know what you mean by that. I think I know you're talking about the squirting. So much squirting in her videos. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. It's just like you see an Adriana Chechik video and you're like, oh, she's really attractive. And then you you hover your mouse cursor over the preview. And then it's waterworks. It's just not, personally, it's not what I'm into. So there's that. But yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty wet. It's definitely pretty wet. Kavan here says that The Woman King is coming to Netflix at 12 a.m. Oh, cool. I do need to watch that. So I heard good things about it. I've heard that it not necessarily the most historically accurate movie from what I heard, but it's definitely good from my understanding. So I think there's going to be a lot of good movies to watch. Music Man here says her pussy just shoots like a motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. I think she's like professionally, she was generally known as a human super soaker. It's kind of like that. Like, I don't know where she stores the liquid. Is there like some kind of sack where it goes? I don't know. Is it just on? How do you put that on command? Like, that's some serious like Kegel control, and I'm pretty sure if she tried hard enough, she could probably hit a moving target with it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, Pleasant here says, I'm very happy I made it for the conversation. Oh, dude, we're not even 10 minutes into the show, and we're already talking about squirting and Adriana Chechik. So whoever catches this on the replay, hope you have this on headphones or where no one else can hear it. So there's that, guys. Oh, there's definitely that. There is one thing though I want to quickly touch upon too before we dive on into everything, and that is The Little Mermaid dropped a new teaser today, and we got the first look at Melissa McCarthy as Ursula and her cackle. And you know what? It sounds like Melissa McCarthy is what it sounds like to me. It absolutely sounds like Melissa McCarthy. This looks like Melissa McCarthy. This is clearly not finished CG. This is just the first bit of it, and I get all that. But for me, you know what? I mean, the movie comes out later on this year. give me a full trailer, like with relatively finished CG to get an idea for it. I don't know, man. I don't really have much of a big push for this film. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have a big love for it right now, essentially speaking. It's like, it's not to say that it's not going to be good. It's just that I don't care. I've listened to Halle Bailey, or yeah, it's Halle or Haley, right? I think Haley Bailey. Halle, I don't even know. I've heard her sing. She's a very gifted singer, but again, it's kind of like these live action movies. They don't really do it for me, which is why the big news of the day, speaking of that, is this right here. And what we're finding out is Universal has decided to follow Disney into battle and make a How to Train Your Dragon live action movie coming to theaters in 2 years, directed by the guy who did the original movie, who's an animation guy, not a live action guy. And all I can say to that right off the bat, just my initial reaction, I haven't even read the article yet. We'll go through the article here in a second, but my initial thoughts on that were like, hey, does anyone remember Andrew Stanton and John Carter, or Brad Bird and Tomorrowland, or Brad Bird and even Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which is not the highest regarded Mission Impossible movie. It's lower on the tier. Animation people sometimes have trouble in a live action realm. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here. I really love the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. I really do. They've done a lot with it. You have the 3 movies. You've got like a whole bunch of like shows, animated shows. I think there's like 6 seasons of the show. Jay Baruchel voiced Hiccup in all of them. There was like other spinoffs or whatever. Like, it's a massive franchise for Universal, and especially DreamWorks and everything else. So to me, it's like, what I don't get is now that DreamWorks is overseen by Christopher Melanandri, and I think that was something that was really apparent in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish in regards to the storytelling. Why would you want to fuck that up and go into this? Why? No, okay, Roman here. I'm not criticizing like John Carter as being a bad movie. I love that movie. What I mean is just like, it just didn't play out well. All right, Blessing here says they are making a How to Train Your Dragon Land at Epic Universe, so this decision makes sense. I mean, yeah, because it comes out at the same time, so I get that. And we are seeing, what is it? Tonight's the world premiere of the grand opening, world premiere of Super Mario Brothers World at Universal Studios Hollywood. So I get it. Brand synergy. I totally understand. I totally get it. It's just one of those weird things. All right. Okay, Communion, thank you for the 5. We'll take a look at that towards the end. Thank you. Spider-Man Gaming here says, How to Train Your Dragon was perfect as is, and they should let the franchise rest. I mean, it's definitely like, I like the franchise. I think they should maybe like take it 100 years in the future or something. Keep it animated. The animation is so much better now than it was in 2010 when the first one came out. So it's crazy. Zachary here says, I never saw John Carter either. I take it you recommend. Oh, dude, it's great. Like, I like John Carter is fucking fantastic. It just, Disney did not know how to market that movie at all. I think Brad Bird's live action stuff is not as good as Andrew Stanton's, but Brad Bird's animation is God tier. Andrew Stanton's animation is God tier. I would even put How to Train Your Dragon up there in some of that God tier, mindset as well. It's just, I mean, in 2010, man, fucking DreamWorks in 2010 was firing on all cylinders, in my opinion. How to Train Your Dragon, fucking Shrek Forever After, which was great. Megamind later on that year. I think was there like a 4th movie that year too? But arguably that was their best year. And then, and then you had like Peabody and Sherman, which kind of like hurt him a little bit, even though I really liked Peabody and Sherman. I thought that was really funny. I've seen it quite a bit. I love The Croods, for crying out loud. God, that show. Both of those movies are great. And both of those animated shows are great. The one on Netflix had like 6 seasons, and then the one on Hulu has got 5 seasons. But they cranked that shit out. So I'd recommend it though. Anyway, Calvin here says, Roger Deakins also helped out on Dragon. So that's cool. Roman here says Peabody and Sherman has a great 3D. I never saw it in 3D. I just I just saw it regular, I guess. But let's dive into this here. So according to this, it says a live action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon is soaring into theaters in 2025. Dean DeBlois, who wrote and directed the animated trilogy 2010's How to Train Your Dragon, 2014's How to Train Your Dragon 2, and 2019's How to Train Your Dragon The Hidden World, is returning to write and direct the newest entry in the franchise, slated to release March 14th. The Oscar-nominated How to Train Your Dragon takes place in the mythical Viking village of Berk and follows the adventures of a misfit teen named Hiccup, who befriends an injured dragon called Toothless. We already know this. The movies, based on the books by Cressida Cowell, have generated more than $1.6 billion worldwide. That's just theatrically. Their home video sales, merch sales, everything else, I guarantee you it's quite a bit. The journeys have also traveled beyond the big screen, with you've got DreamWorks Dragons, Rescue Riders, and the Nine Realms, as well as theme park rides and the live show. That is pretty crazy. So prior to his work on the original How to Train Your Dragon, DeBlois worked with Chris Sanders on Disney's Lilo and Stitch, after first serving as a co-heads of story on 1998's Mulan. In addition to writing and directing, he'll also serve as a producer. Mark Platt, the Best Picture nominee for La La Land, The Bridge of Spies, and Trial of the Chicago 7, will produce the film for his Universal-based company, Mark Platt Productions, alongside Adam Siegel, blah, 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 blah. All right, so here's the thing. You know, Platt's currently working on Wicked, directed by John M. Chu, starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. John M. Chu's an okay director. He's okay. Wicked will be very interesting. I don't even know, man. Like, Ariana Grande I kind of soured on her after the Pete Davidson thing, to be honest with you, because her reaction to that was pretty bad. But yes, I agree. I agree with Blessing. Oh God, if this is a success, will Shrek go live action? I think so. I do think so. All right. I really, really, really do think so. It's one of those scenarios where you've got, they are clearly following in Disney's footsteps. They clearly see the potential of putting 150 to 250 million in these movies that already have an established base of, you could say, kids who have become adults or even kids now or whatever, of a very diverse audience of people who, they probably look at the numbers and go, well, shit, the Lion King remake made $1 billion. Aladdin made $1 billion. Some of these movies, Dumbo crashed and burned, but some of these have done well. Alice in Wonderland did $1 billion, like kind of the first one out of the gate back in 2010. That movie is like 13 years old next month and shit. And that did $1 billion. I mean, it's just, it makes sense on that particular perspective. And, but I don't know, man, like, look, one of the things I've always enjoyed about Universal and how they approach animation is that their animation always feels a little bit different than Disney. It really is meant to be different than Disney. Especially like DreamWorks in general, especially looking at how Jeffrey Katzenberger hates Michael Eisner and very much shat on him in the Shrek movies. Lord Farquaad from Shrek was based on Michael Eisner. So, there was a rivalry there. I just look at this shit now and I think to myself, like, man, I get why they want to do it, but at the same time, my thought process is just, no, this is not a good idea. It's Roman here says, as long as Illumination doesn't touch it. Well, here's the thing with that is, like I said before, Chris Melanandri, who founded Illumination, who wrote and directed Despicable Me, who created the Minions. He's the guy who is overseeing the production of Super Mario Brothers. He's also in charge of DreamWorks, because DreamWorks and Illumination are both wholly owned by Universal, and he oversees DreamWorks. So that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like that's not a bad thing at all. Jess here for 5. Thank you, buddy. Says, this is why you need to watch anime. Western companies are just regurgitating old properties. I mean, but how many times? Okay. Like, yeah, fine. I get all that. I understand that. I get that, that happens quite a bit, because look, one of the reasons why that happens is largely to reach an international audience, right? It really is. It really is trying to like take a property that was like big in Japan, repurpose it, and then release it, internationally in hopes that it does well. there's reasons for it. But not even all anime is good. Come on, let's be fair. Not how much anime is like, I mean, maybe it's just some of the shit I've seen. All right. Like, a lot of it comes across like Kung Fu Enter the Fist, but like not funny. Just like frustratingly annoying. Now, you guys have recommended a fair amount of good stuff. So in no way is there a reason for me to like, discount some of the things that you all have said. We've done a couple anime Red Pill nights. We will do another one before the end of the month, as we go into March. And then of course, anime April, which I'm still looking for like the last movie to cover. No. I picked all 4 movies. I picked all 4 movies for that month. So that's set. So that's good. But yeah, I get what you're trying to say there. Anyway, stay away from the weeb pill. I mean, some people like it, Did I say, what did I say? I said enter the fist. I said Kung Pao enter the fist. That's what I said. I said, no, I don't have cooties. I have children. There's a difference. Stop watching hentai. No. You're not my real dad. You tell me what to do. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens with this one. I just look at this and go, all right, we'll see. We'll see, guys. I'm not entirely sure what to feel about this kind of stuff today, to be fair. But the other thing that came out today that I thought was really, really, really interesting was we got confirmation that I Am Legend 2 and Constantine 2 are happening. There's been a lot of conversation, a lot of speculation, a lot of discussion online about whether or not Constantine 2 is going to fit into what it is James Gunn is doing. The way I look at this is like, this is an Elseworld story and one that predates him taking over, and it's happening through Warner Brothers Picture Group rather than DC Studios. Very similar to how Sandman is being done through DC Entertainment, and that is what worked the deal with Netflix, not DC Television or Warner Brothers Television. So it's like they worked a different deal in order to get the licensing rights. But again, that's a very, very, very specific instance and not one that will apply to the whole sell Snyderverse to Netflix and all that nonsense, which again, I see Saggy's in the chat, and we had a bit of fun laughing at those guys today, which we will be talking about here in a few minutes. Did I say Kung Pao? I said Kung Fu. Okay. Sorry, guys. I thought I said, okay. Sorry. I thought I said Kung Pao entered the fist. I don't know why. Did I say Kung Fu? You know what? It could happen. All right. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's fine, but Kung Pao Enter the Fist, is an awesome, awesome, amazing movie. So, I feel bad for besmirching the work of Steve Odenkirk, who also did Jimmy Neutron, by the way, for those of you out there who may not know that. I don't know if it's still available. I highly doubt that it's not. Real quick side note, Kung Pao Enter the Fist. When that movie came out, they had a website for it, and you could actually go on their website and edit your own version of the trailer. It was a weird little thing that they were doing, but you had the ability to edit your own trailer. I mean, they'd give you a bunch of clips and you could throw in what you want or whatever, but it was such a weird way of marketing the movie that gave fans an opportunity to kind of dive in on the interactive part of that. I'm truly surprised not a lot of other movies, no other movies that I've ever seen before or after, have ever done something like that. So it was such an interesting way of approaching the online marketing. And I thought that was great, but the movie itself is just, goddamn, that movie's great. That movie is hysterical. Zachary asking, how are they going to do I Am Legend 2? Actually, they talk about that. So why don't we get in to the article here? All right. So here's what we know. All right. So writer, producer, Akiva Goldsman Weed Road is going to, let's see. I lost my place. I'm sorry, guys, got distracted. So, okay. Writer, producer, Akiva Goldsman's Weed Road production company has signed on a multi-year first look deal with Warner Brothers Pictures following his previous arrangement at MGM. The deal is being made with the intent of bolstering Warner Brothers' theatrical franchise output and a focus on IP that can play on a global scale theatrically. Goldman's immediate work as part of the deal is to move forward on the sequels to 2005's Constantine and 2007's I Am Legend. Both films were strong performers for Warner Brothers Pictures and are being resurrected, albeit with different approaches in mind. Keanu will reprise his role of supernatural exorcist and demonologist John Constantine in the sequel following the $280 million worldwide gross of the original. Goldsman, who was writing the script, said to Deadline, "We're doing it with J.J. Abrams, and Francis and Keanu and I have been pretty deep in the story-breaking stage. This is a credit to Keanu, who endlessly has said, 'This is a character I want to return to.' Finally, he said it enough times that it stuck. It also happened during a power vacuum when goodwill was really needed. And hey, listen, this is we're getting Constantine 2 for the same reason we got Henry Cavill popping up at the end of Black Adam, because there was a power grab or a power vacuum at the time, and they really, really, really needed some goodwill, and they knew that this is something fans would like. But at least with Constantine is going to be fantastic. Here, Roman asking, have you ever seen Kung Fu Hustle? Dude, Stephen Chow's Kung Fu Hustle is one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen. Such a good movie. Such a good movie. But okay, Zap here says, no, not J.J. Abrams. Well, listen, you got to get the fucking money somehow. And J.J. does have a development deal. So there's that. Now, Akiva here says that the character is very much Keanu in the way he and Francis Lawrence saw the world of good and evil, and the wonderful and the authentic noir, where there is a world behind the world of good and evil coexist with our world right up close. Beyond that, we are still discovering it as I am writing the script. So, okay. There are people out there that are not going to be happy with this because they do not like what Akiva Goldsmith has done, or Goldsman has done, with the Star Trek Discovery franchise and all that stuff. I personally am like apathetic to it. I actually, from what I've seen, I really enjoy it, but I don't, hunt it down to watch it. I'm going to see the fuck out of Constantine 2, guys. I mean, I remember going to, when the movie came out, there was a special sneak preview in San Diego, and I wanted to go see it. So they had a special promotion that you had to go and test drive a car at like a Toyota dealership, and they would give you tickets to go to the special sneak screening. The problem, though, is, again, like all of these special screenings, it's like first come, first serve, right? So they always have this overabundance of tickets that they give out and everything else. This was just one really weird promotion to go and test drive a car. So myself and a buddy jumped in his car, drove down to the Toyota dealership the day of the screening, and we went in there and we tried to test drive a car in order to get our hands on the tickets to go see this movie. Well, the fucking dealer, right? We went through the whole fucking rigmarole, and we were going to go and test drive the car. And then the dealer just goes like, he's like, I don't have any tickets. And we're like, why? And he goes, because they never gave us any. Right. And so it's just like, but they didn't tell us that. Like, they knew that's why we were there. They knew that the promotion was going on, but they hid that information from us until like right before the test drive phase. So with not having tickets in mind you, myself, my buddy, and another friend of mine, we jumped in the car, and we still went up to the screening. We got there early enough, and I walked right over to one of the handlers, and I explained to the handler what happened. I'm like, we went to the Toyota dealership in El Cajon. We, listened to the promo on the radio. This is what they said. They told us that they had them, and then they told us that they didn't have them. And then they refused to just like hook us up with whatever. And we did what we were supposed to do, what the promotion said. Can we go in and see this movie? You know what? If you do enough smooth talking to those people, they generally let you in. So they let us in. And we went and saw Constantine, early screening of it. Went to the drive-in, told everybody about it, had the movie there, watched it a bunch of times. And I even owned the goddamn 2-disc special edition on DVD. I love that movie. Movie's fucking amazing. All right. Absolutely amazing. Now, Spider-Man Gaming here says, hot take, Matt Ryan is a better Constantine. All right. I would say this. I don't disagree in essence that Matt Ryan is a better Constantine, only because Matt Ryan has had a lot longer to play the role and has built into the role, grown into the role. All right. Like, that's the thing. But Keanu's Constantine 2 was like or Constantine was really good. And I'd love to see more, especially, Rachel Weisz, Peter Stormare, Tilda Swinton. Is he going to get back Shia LaBeouf? Probably not. But I like the movie. I like the movie quite a bit. I need to find my copy of it and watch it again. Haven't seen it in a while. Rational, you left a super chat? I must have missed that one. Oh, there we go. Can we watch the quick trailer you DM'd me? I don't know what you DM me necessarily. Let me see here. What is this? I don't even know what it is, man. I got to ask you what this shit is beforehand. Just because I need to double check all this shit. Hold on. I'm kind of scrolling through it right now to get an idea. I don't even know. What is this? Oh, okay. It's a Mike Coulter thing. Okay. What is it? I saw the trailer today for Afghanistan. No, Kandahar. It's called Kandahar. The new Gerard Butler action movie from the director of Greenland. Looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll check that trailer out at the end. Okay. We'll check that trailer out at the end. Thank you for that. Sorry, I missed it because I was looking at that. Music Man here says they should get Shia back. Well, I mean, maybe, but I'm more with Spider-Man gaming here. I would love to see Shia return in a Transformers movie instead. Sam Witwicky. Bring back Sam Witwicky. I'm okay with that. I have no problem. Anyway, going further, let's talk about I Am Legend. So this sequel, which the studio has been trying to crack for years, Michael B. Jordan has been cast in the feature, and Goldsman says the film will lean into the original Richard Matheson novel and takes place many years after the first, saying, "This will start a few decades later than the first. I'm obsessed with The Last of Us, where we see the world just post-apocalypse, but also after 20, 30-year lapse. You see how the earth reclaims the world, and there's something beautiful in the question of it. As a man steps away from being the primary tenant, what happens? That will be especially visual in New York. I don't know if they'll climb up to the Empire State Building, but the possibilities are endless. We trace back the original Matheson book and the alternate ending as opposed to the lease ending in the original film. What Matheson was talking about was that man's time on the planet as the dominant species had come to an end. That's a really interesting thing we're going to explore. There will be a little more fidelity to the original text, meaning they want to find a way to do a sequel. The alternate ending in the I Am Legend home video release, which is where he doesn't die, and he actually ends up curing the vampires, and then travels with the woman to the compound, and that's where the movie ends. That's where they're going to pick it up. I personally enjoyed the alternate ending. I really did. I thought that the alternate ending was pretty decent, but I also liked the original theatrical ending. So I think that's going to be okay. I think that's going to be okay. So, you got to watch this. Zachary here says, I've never saw the Keanu Constantine. You got to check it out. What else? Oh, wait, hold on. The Ant-Man end credit scenes are leaking right now. Of course they are. Of course they are. This is look, is it going to prevent me from seeing the movie tomorrow? No, I got tickets. I'm going to go see it tomorrow afternoon and stuff, but it is just it's crazy. The last sane one here says the alternate ending was the original ending, but they changed it because people wanted action. You know what? That makes sense. That actually makes sense. I didn't mind the final ending of it, the theatrical and shit. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, test audiences are weird, right? It's all we tested people out there in Oklahoma, and the Oklahomans, they want action. They want to see Will Smith die. So there's all that. Jess asking a very good question. What will they re-release I Am Legend with the alternate ending in theaters? That is a really good question. That's a solid question. I like that quite a bit, actually. The reason why I like that is because we have got, because they might. They're going to have to reintroduce it to the audience, okay? Because you got to remember, by the time this thing comes out, 2025, right, or whatever, or probably 2025, you're looking at a movie that could, that's going to be 17, 18 years old. So you're going to have to reintroduce it to an audience of people. So yeah, doing a limited re-release or a limited or re-release on home video with the original ending now being the main ending, and then the theatrical ending being the alternate ending. They could do that as a way, but I'm pretty sure they're going to do a theatrical re-release. For another reason with that too is because, look, Will Smith has some serious public image issues even a year later. While a lot of people probably don't still necessarily care about the slap, it did have a ramification to his career, right? Like the Bad Boys 4 announcement was not like necessarily met with like the biggest hurrah type thing. It really wasn't. It was like, okay, cool. They're doing Bad Boys 4. Emancipation, which is supposed to be his, like, his big Oscar movie of the year. It was supposed to be Apple TV Plus's big Oscar movie of the year. Anton Fuqua was coming in definitely hoping to get a Best Director nod. Not a single mention. Not a single nomination. Right? I mean, that no one even talked about Emancipation. The reviews on it were good. People, praised Will Smith's performance, but like no one talked about it. Coda, an Apple TV Plus movie, won Best Picture last year. So it's like you figure Apple's going to be trying to have a two-timer on their hands with this one, and they simply just didn't accomplish that. So Will Smith like screwed them, screwed himself, screwed everybody. But if they're going like, listen, we're going to go back and bring in, I Am Legend 2, bringing him back. We're going to do, Bad Boys 4. I wouldn't be surprised if in the same deal to come back for I Am Legend 2, there's talks about coming back as Deathstroke to some extent. I wouldn't be surprised if those things were actually happening behind the scenes. It just would not surprise me in the slightest, knowing how this stuff kind of tends to play itself out as we go into it. But anyway, thank you for that one there. Wild Wild West. Yes. Give us Wild Wild West 2. There we go. There you have it, buddy. Give us Wild Wild West 2. Dat Dude Vince here says, I want a Truman Show sequel. Show us what he did after leaving the dome. That would be interesting. Sorry, Deadshot. I'm tired today, guys. I did not get my nap. So I'm flubbing up a little bit tonight. You're right. It's Deadshot, not Deathstroke. Thank you. It's been a long day and I'm not feeling great, so I'm getting a couple things wrong. Rational brings up Men in Black 4. I say that because Men in Black 3 I didn't think was very good. I thought Men in Black International was okay. I thought it was better than Men in Black 3. I enjoyed Men in Black 3 for what it was, but the movie kind of started putting my ass to sleep, and I saw that shit in fucking IMAX. And I've only watched it one time, so maybe I should go back and watch it again. I love Men in Black 1. I love Men in Black 2. Men in Black 3 just was like not doing it for me. But I did enjoy Men in Black International for what it was. So there's that. All right, so let's move on here. What else do I got kind of lined up? Here's a fun one. This one was just kind of popping itself around a little bit. Occasionally it's fun to read Reddit posts and see just how crazy certain people are. And in this particular case, this woman apparently got really upset at the Tubi Super Bowl commercial, and she ended up leaving her boyfriend over it. This is coming in from Reddit's Off My Chest, so take with a grain of salt, but this is what's been floating around right now. So she says, I broke up with my boyfriend over the Tubi Super Bowl commercial. I, 23 female, broke up with my boyfriend, 25 male, over the reaction he had to me over the commercial. For those who are unaware, during the Super Bowl commercials, Tubi, a streaming app, played a prank where they made it look like somebody was changing the TV over to their app. I'm sure that in many households this caused chaos and was a funny event, but not in mine. My boyfriend thought I was the one changing the channel and began screaming at me violently, calling me things that I don't even want to write down. Even as I told him it was a commercial, he ignored me and kept blowing up at me and punched a hole in our living room wall. He eventually realized what happened and awkwardly apologized, but I was so disgusted over his reaction to a 15-second commercial. I feel like if you can't keep your anger in check and get that violent over something so small, I don't want to be around for it. We've been together for over a year, living together for the past 2 months, and I've known him to get angry at some things, but this really took me off guard, and I can't forget how unsafe I felt around him during this. In the morning, I took some of my things, and I'm now staying at my parents' house. I left him a note telling him how I felt and that I didn't think we were going to work out long term. He's been messaging me, calling me repeatedly. His parents told me that I'm overreacting. Or my parents told me that I'm overreacting since he had a bit to drink and the Super Bowl gets everyone riled up, but I don't feel I am. I don't think it's normal to be that angry. So I saw this kind of flown around. I mean, Plush Year says, okay, maybe this happened. I mean, yeah, if it's the right thing, it's the right thing. Like getting this mad over a prank TV ad, it really like it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, you guys. I'm not saying it didn't happen. What I'm saying is that, quite frankly, it's just like, it's wow. I just thought it would be kind of interesting to kind of touch upon that there for a second. But yeah, if you get this mad about but you see, here's the thing with this, like getting this kind of emotionally invested into something is wild. And I think that's one of the reasons why, I'm probably going to back off shitting on some people. Okay. Cause I kind of need to talk about some stuff that happened. I think this is going to kind of lead into some stuff here. So I want to bring this up right here. Okay. I want to bring this up. This is, in relation to last night. All right. In relation to last night. So, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger here. If you guys recall, we were talking about, this, we were talking about Skywalker the Jedi and all those guys. And they were, going off about the absolutely disastrous hashtag movement, which is so funny because a lot of those people have been triggered and coming at me today. But somebody they believed was Wayne T. Carr was in their chat last night. And Wayne T. Carr was saying, I told you, you had my support. Now, what's funny about that is even their leader, right? Their leader, Syl, came on in at one point and had said that, what's he say? He says, we not wacky. We got a lantern. All right. We have a lantern. And that's what he's referring to is Wayne T. Carr coming out in support of this. Well, when asked about this, it was Wayne T. Carr, the one that popped up in this particular chat. Wayne T. Carr responded to Nicotina today, asking him, says, nope, wasn't me. Was not me. And that to me is pretty damn hysterical because, again, Wayne T. Carr, was posting about this yesterday, right? And a lot of people thought this is some kind of answer. This is some kind of thing. This is some kind of message. This is a signal. This is a sign. This is it. This is that, all this crazy shit. And it turns out, no, it wasn't that at all. It wasn't any of that at all. And it only gets even worse because what we had is a great fucking hysterical little moment where, you've got somebody else who is tied in with Zack Snyder, someone else who is really tight with Zack, has been involved in a bunch of Zack's work, understands Zack fundamentally, is working on Zack over at Netflix with the, with all, what's it, the Twilight of the Gods and the Army of the Dead, Lost Vegas and all that jazz. And that, of course, is this person right here. I'm talking about Jay Oliva, who is a storyboard artist, right? So Jay Oliva here was being asked about this as well, because, somebody had mentioned it to him. If I could find it right there, I'll just bring up the actual tweet so you guys can actually read it here. So someone had asked him, right, about it, right? Some guy here, Batman TLG, who has, or someone here had said, about the hashtag, this from February 13th. And he says, sorry, I do not own the script, nor do I know who would have that kind of power. The script is owned by WB, and the only thing they can do is, I don't know what he's asking him, but something obviously in regards to The Flash. So then Batman The Last Goodbye here says, well, we're working on it. We started a little trend called sell ZSJL to Netflix and sell Snyderverse to Netflix. As Zack said, hopefully cooler heads would prevail either way. We are thrilled to see what you've got up your sleeve with the upcoming projects. And he says, thanks, good luck with that. But I highly doubt it because WB will not want a competing universe studio to their main. Plus, the licensing fees involved would be too high to make any business sense. They were buying, unless they were buying the characters like Sony did to Spidey, right? And it's kind of like, and and again, like people out there just do not want to acknowledge this. This guy Jeans Ghost here says, but Jay, it's the multiverse. We should be able to have more than one Superman. Besides, this is friendly competition. Gunn gets his sandbox, Snyder gets his, everybody wins, right? And again, Jay, with the absolute facts and logic here, says, yeah, it's the multiverse, but who's going to pay for it? A comic book movie costs $150 million to $200 million to produce and takes at least 2 years to make. How is a streamer supposed to recoup costs? Warner is not going to sell them ancillary rights like merchandising, etc. They won't own those characters forever. Right? It's true. It's absolutely true. But people out there simply just do not want to acknowledge that. But Jay, he's giving him credit. He's responding to somebody else, or to the guy in the beginning. He says, and we all know that Warner Brothers has plans for these characters, so they aren't going to take a deal like that. Marvel sold Spidey during a time of bankruptcy. Warner Brothers isn't there, and I doubt they would do such a deal in today's climate. So, it goes to show you that when you talk about these guys like this, when you really start breaking it down, people who are in the industry, who have direct conversations with Zack, right? All of these things, these are the guys you have to kind of laugh at. Or not those guys, the people that are challenging them are like, no, it can be like this. But you're like, well, hold on a second. Like, eine Minuten, bitte. It's really fascinating because these guys are in the know. But you can't separate, like, facts and logic don't mean anything. And when called on it, it just ends up getting into another scenario, like where it becomes either like kicking the can down the road or just goalpost moving across the board. Because look at this one here. You've got Sil Abdul right now kind of backed into a corner. Sil is backed into a corner, right? He came out, we got a lantern. They thought they had, Wayne T. Carr in the chat. It wasn't Wayne T. Carr. The hashtag is already dead. Today, it never trended worldwide. It was caught in Twitter spam filters. No outlets wrote about it. I talked about this last night. You had, what was it? Cosmic Book News and like one other website talked about it. And that was really about it. And as a result of that, it just ended up like, everything they set out to do, all of that attention that they got yesterday meant literally nothing. So today, when people were going to to Jay Oliva and they're asking Jay Oliva about this, and this is what Jay Oliva says, Silk says, everyone should stop trying to speak for Zack Snyder, Netflix, and Warner Brothers. Pot, meat, fucking kettle. Pot, meat, fucking kettle. You're telling me that this whole thing about trying to get Netflix's attention and all the speculation and all this shit that these fucking knuckle-dragging chuckle fucks say to one another all the time on their cool table streams, it is the most asinine nonsense. These guys are all fucking Lenny from Of Mice and Men, just to give you guys an honest representation of who they are on a mental level. But what you can start to understand is this level of delusion. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what reality, what facts, what logic puts them right in their place every single time. They simply do not want to acknowledge it. Not at all. They don't want to sit there and realize that they don't know what they're talking about. They don't want to sit there and realize that they've done anything that's like ultimately going to be a waste of time. And what really cracks me up is their leader, their God, if you will, their Messiah, Mikey Sutton, doesn't even write about them at all. It happened yesterday. Not even an article. I'm pretty sure he's written about it on here before. All right. But still, all of his friends, all of his minions, the people that look to him for support, for guidance, for, consultation, for console, all those things. He just, kind of left him in the lurch, right? Because you know what? Was this? Oh yeah. Here we go. I think this one right down here was Zack Snyder is in. Hold on, is right here. Netflix becomes key and restore the Snyderverse movement. All right, and this article was written January 13th, so literally over a month ago. The last article mentioning this particular hashtag, Mikey pops up on all their streams. He pops up on all their shows. These guys look at him like he is going to be like the bringer of life to them. And all he does is just, he doesn't even write about it on his website. That's why it's funny. That's why it's funny. Because all of these guys are fucking Lennies, right? They're just Lennies. And here's the thing with that. You could call them a Lenny and they won't know what it is. Spherical Man here says, tell me about the rapids, Charbo. There you go. There you go, guys. It's just, look, every freaking time we have talked about this, we've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt every single time that they don't know what they're talking about, that they just make things up, that they just lie to themselves. They lie to you. They lie to each other because that's all they're able to do. That is literally the only thing that they're able to do. And yet their own guy has effectively abandoned them to the clowns because it was such a failed event. When I called it an unmitigated disaster, I'm not making that up. I'm really, really not making that up. And to me, that's kind of funny because it's just like, goddamn, Jarbodamus motherfuckers, right? I've been right at every fucking turn. The thing with that, though, is not to sound too egotistical, because I'm not trying to be sounding too egotistical. What I mean by that is, like, look, these guys are dumb. They're Lennies. They're real fucking Lennies. Is it punching down to keep making fun of them? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I like people to have a good, solid understanding and a fundamental understanding of what's going on, of who potentially is pulling the strings, why things are happening, doing the groundwork, doing the research, laying everything out, trying to make that a thing. And then when you watch these guys and they just come out and they just say things that are like so fundamentally, blatantly untrue, fabricated pieces of nonsense. You know, you've got Zod Writer, who is like writing a book where he's apparently been like interviewing people behind the scenes at war. Like he got an interview with Hamada, supposedly. No, you didn't. No, you did. Unless you did it under false pretenses, right? Unless you did it under false pretenses, there's literally no way you would get an interview with this guy that nobody else would get. Like, unless he was a gigantic Marty Feldman fan, I guess. I don't fucking know. But all things considered, this is where, like, it's getting sad. It's just getting sad, you know? And I like to keep people up on the know of what's happening, but Jesus, it's getting pretty bad. Anyway, you guys are talking about fucking Ant-Man. Reminds me of what I said. What did I say on Discord? I kind of forget. $3 corner. Tell me about the Snyderverse, George. It's pronounced Igor. Yeah, there you go. You guys got it. Oh, you guys are smart. You guys are smart. SMRT, baby. SMRT. You guys are smart. Rational here asking, if audiences didn't show up for the Superman and Black Man or in Black Adam, why would they show up for Gun Superman? Well, here's the thing with that is that, I mean, it's a little bit different, right? Everyone knew, people knew about the cameo of Superman. The problem, though, is that Black Adam fundamentally was not a great movie. It was an okay movie. It had good cinematography. I thought it had good action, but the story was weak as fuck, right? The story was weak as fuck. And that was the biggest problem. There was no rewatchability with that movie. There really wasn't. There was like no rewatchability. So having a Cavill cameo didn't really do anything, you know, because you didn't, if they would have had Cavill pop up for the last act of that movie, like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield did for Spider-Man No Way Home, that's an entirely different scenario, because now you have substantial screen time with him, and that would allow people to then fall in love with that character. Having 5 seconds on screen is not going to be enough. It's just not. And then it was also, the movie didn't move the needle. And it's not that people don't like Henry Cavill, they do, but there was no reason for them to go see it. So, you know, there was, what did I crack open? I cracked open a seltzer water, mixed berry flavor, because I like to drink my seltzer water. Anyway, that's all it really boils down to. You know what I mean? And I see people, here's the thing. I saw, one guy talking in the chat about Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, like, oh my God, Marvel Bros, it's over, Marvel Bros, and, it's getting roasted. I don't care about, critical fucking scores on that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about that. Like, it doesn't stop me from seeing a movie. Let me see. I'm bringing it up right now. I'm just going to wait for it to load for a second. Okay, so right now, the Ant-Man, I think my browser froze. We'll see what's going on here. Hopefully it doesn't. Okay, there we go. Yeah, StreamYard just crapped out my browser. So there's that. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. It just crapped out my browser. So let me bring this up here again. All right. So what we've got is the here's the Rotten Tomatoes score, 51% positive rating, 167 reviews. At least 51% of people liked it. So there's that. But some of the stuff here is just like the rotten, I'll never unsee MODOK. This is coming in from Perry Nemiroff, who is a top critic from YouTube. This is not even Perry Nemiroff's review from Collider, I don't think. This is just from her own channel. Let me see here. It's for, oh yeah, no, Perry has her own channel. And this is her thumbnail. Folks, this is her thumbnail. Wow. This woman is on like Movie or Noovie. You know what I mean? Like, this is, I don't get Perry, man. I've never gotten Perry. I don't get the allure. I don't think she's a bad person. I just never like vibed with this. But this is like, what the hell? Anyway, back to this here. So, all right, Glenn Weldon, NPR, says, as depicted here, Scott's entire personality, the whole of his character is divine. Thus, I love my daughter, Cassie. Where is Cassie? What have you done with Cassie? I mean, oh yeah, father loving his daughter. That's a bad thing. Randy Myers here, San Jose, says it's entertaining enough, but Quantumania seems like an in-between enterprise, another chess move in the superhero series. That's my biggest fear for the movie. If everything feels like it's just pushing something forward rather than living in the moment, and that can be a huge problem. The Ant-Man movies have not been my favorite. They've been fun, but not my favorite. So, we'll have to see here. All right, what do we got? We've got, honestly, like the only one here I recognize is like, fucking Perry. What do the top critics say? All right, I'm just going to kind of scroll through. I'm looking for someone that I recognize their name. Okay, David Sims, The Atlantic. David does the podcast Blank Check, which is I think like the most popular movie discussion podcast. These guys make like $50K a month on Patreon. Their podcast, each episode is like 3 hours long. It is they literally pay researchers. It is meticulously researched. To a level that I am just unable to compete with my own self that I've been trying to, but I am unable to compete. But that's kind of where Podio commentary is kind of something that came from listening to this. But he says here, the story is in service of the larger Marvel engine, an increasingly creaky machine that nevertheless keeps grinding away, dropping superstar performers into CGI glop because the show simply must go on. Yeah, that's kind of an issue there, But none of this is going to stop me from seeing it. All right, Justin Chang here says, what a chore this so-called entertainment is. I mean, like, look, you can kind of tell that a lot of these critics, and I kind of agree with like Mad Max on this one. A lot of these guys, I think just hate their job. Right? I think they just hate their job. I really do think that they just hate their job. And part of the reason for that is because it's a lot of these guys, they love movies, but they loved movies when they were a kid, when movies were different and new and unique and amazing. And they got to look behind the curtain, right? I think they got to look behind the curtain, and the look behind the curtain doesn't interest them. The look behind the curtain is something that is like a chore. It's something that's menial. It's something that it doesn't serve their overall needs, whatever that might be, whether it's just like to write a book or if it's to do what the fuck ever. I have no idea. But I do think a lot of these guys generally just dislike newer movies. And that might be one of the reasons why a lot of these movie discussion podcasts always seem to go back to like the 80s or the 90s. Part of the reason for that, a big reason for that actually, I believe, is because that's their childhood. That's what they're used to. That's what they grew up in. They want to go back to when they watched movies as a kid. They want to go back to when they would scroll the video store looking for the box art that looked the coolest. Not knowing if the movie was good, not knowing if it was going to be worth your time, but just the box art looked cool and they would hope to find a gem and then watch it with their friends. Something I did as a kid. Something I don't do as much as an adult anymore because I spend so much time reading about movies and talking about movies. I generally tend to know what's coming up. But it is very much like that, with these older podcasts. It's like they want to go back to what it was like when they were a kid and talk about things that influence them, not how things are. Where we are now is like really no different than where we were 30 years ago. I know it seems weird to say, but it's true. Go back and watch a movie written 25, 30 years ago, and it's going to be very similarly done to the movies of today. The difference is our processing of that information and all of our lived experiences between then and now. Movies generally tend to follow a very similar format or formula because they know that it fucking works. The 3-act structure, a beginning, a middle, and an end, a protagonist, an antagonist. You have your side characters, you have your conflicting elements. You've got your climax, your conclusion, your epilogue, your prologue, maybe. All of these things that fall into a story that people are trying to tell in 90 to 120 minutes. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they don't. The thing with the Ant-Man movies is that the Ant-Man movies, I think, have been like middle of the road. They've just been middle of the road. They've always been, well, with the exception of the first one. The second one and this one seem like movies that are just there to serve up the next big thing. Well, here's the thing with that is, Ant-Man and the Wasp set up Endgame. Love that goddamn movie. All right. And if this one is setting up Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, I think we're going to be onto something pretty good there. But in the meantime, I think a lot of these critics really need to go back and ask themselves why they review movies. Because I'll tell you this, based on what I fucking know about a lot of those guys, and not one in particular, but just a general mindset, is it's a slog for them. It's always the same thing. It's go to a press screening or go to a press conference, ask some questions. Maybe they'll do some interviews. Maybe they'll get some insight. Maybe yada, 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 right? It's just checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. On to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And because it's basically with streaming and theatrical and television and home video and everything else, cable, there's so much content that's out there. Covering it all is almost impossible. So you have to follow what's going to be best for business. Well, what's best for business is like big budget superhero movies or tentpole films from studios who have a marketing budget in order to buy advertising site spots on your website or to buy advertising bits on YouTube. So guess what? We get paid more money talking about movies that might run the advertisements beforehand. So if I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about Ant-Man or Ant-Man Quantumania, over the course of the next couple of days, there's going to be a lot of ads running on YouTube about Ant-Man and Quantumania and shit. That's going to be a big factor. It becomes this cycle where you're just like, it's all the same over and over and over again. It's why I really enjoyed Plane. It was just like a simple movie. Anyway, Command Unit here. Thank you for 2. There's other super chats. We'll get to those there. It's not aimed at critics. It's for Marvel fans. That's true as well. That's very true as well. Okay. Did I miss? Okay. I thought I had missed one. I did not. Okay. Nope, I did. All right. Jess here for 5. Thank you. Says, is there any controversy with the new Transformers movie that Jazz got swapped out for Mirage? The toys confirmed it was supposed to be Jazz. I got no fucking idea, dude. I'll tell you this. I'm going to go see the new Transformers movie. I am. the trailers have not wowed me or interested me in the fucking slightest, like at all. Have not interested me at all. It looks bad, like not The Last Night bad or like Transformers 4 bad, but in that range. I'm hopeful that it's better than Bumblebee. At this point, that's what I'm hoping for. And trust me, it's not going to be hard to be better than Bumblebee. It just wasn't that good of a movie. Okay. Let's see. Fandom Minute Seltzer says, I think we can largely credit the good parts of the first one to Edgar Wright. Yeah, probably. Rational says, do I remember when the critics shat on Man of Steel? Did they shit on Man of Steel? What did that one have? Man of Steel, 2013. What did this one? It has it had a 56%, but a 75% audience score. So, it is what it is on that one. I really do feel that it could be, whatever with that, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But all right, why don't we get into, there's really nothing else I had going on today, except for like, kind of like the big one of the day, which is like pretty bad, right? This is bad in regards to leaks. Because I don't talk about leaks very often. I mean, I'm not going to say what this one is, but this Scream 6 situation is pretty bad. So again, I haven't been able to find the full story of it, but what I have been able to find, I'm looking at this article here from Giant Freaking Robot, because not a lot, this happened earlier today, and not a lot of people are talking about it, right? Not a lot of people, outlets are covering it. Now, I don't know if it's because of whatever, but there is like, it's pretty bad. I'm looking to see if the Scream subreddit is back up and stuff. So, all right. I don't know if I don't necessarily know if they're going to talk about it on there. What's going on? Okay. It looks like the Scream, okay, here we go. All right. Okay. I'll read you guys this article and then we'll go over to the Reddit and see what's there. So Scream 6 suffers the worst possible leak. The killer is revealed in video. All right. And I'm not going to go, there we go. I'm not going down any more further than this, because there is a TikTok that they actually, this is why I hate Giant Freaking Robot. But again, not a lot of people are talking about this. So it says here, throughout the history of Scream, the franchise has had different Ghostface killers. Alongside the Ghostface killer is usually an accomplice that has some sort of connection to the person under the iconic mask and their own reason for assisting in the murders. Be warned, major Scream 6 spoilers below, as someone took the killer reveal scene from the upcoming film and uploaded it to the internet. Literally the person, the actual killer is on there. All right. The actual scene with the killer. I didn't know what I was looking at. I accidentally saw it. So that part sucks. I'm still going to go see the movie, but like that part sucks. And I already know, I haven't seen Scream 5 yet, but I already know who did it because that was spoiled on Twitter too. So that part is really bad. But going over here to the subreddit, they shut this down earlier today. And they said here, please do not post the killer spoilers for Scream 6. We have upgraded the rules. Anyone breaking the rules will be banned. This includes posting leaked footage. Do not use the comments of this post to ask people to send you the names of the killers. Here's the thing. Anyone messaging you spoilers unprovoked, please send the mods a screenshot and their username, and we will ban them. Do not accept any messages requests in the meantime to prevent being spoiled by assholes. Like, that is how big of a leak this is. That is how bad of a leak this is. So another mod here says, for those of you asking us to allow the leaks, they say it's a crime to distribute or to allow the distribution of that footage, which could result in the subreddit being taken down if we allowed. We are not going to risk that possibility. If any of your future comments or posts refer to the spoilers or leaks, or you ask people to DM you the leaks, you will face a ban. We are not risking this subreddit being shut down. All right. So, we are disgusted with the leak. These writers, directors, and producers have worked hard for over a year to make this movie. To leak something so huge 3 weeks before the release of the movie is awful. It is. It really, really, really is. Now, again, I can't find full information about how it happened. It's somebody related to the movie and like it's someone like related to the film. Oh, by the way, so the TikTok that I did see accidentally literally just got taken down. But if you do go on to if you do end up going on to Twitter, you will definitely, you can find it. It's up there. But they are doing everything they can to very much try to shut it down. They are doing everything they can to make sure that people out there are not going to like end up getting it. Cause yeah, it's it's kind of bad. It's just holy shit, dude. Like it just fucking happened. Oh my God. Anyway, I mean, there's that. Oh yeah. Sorry. There was something else I wanted to talk about as well. This is like, I mentioned this in the beginning. I don't know why I forgot about it. So, according to Jeff Snyder, who is a bit of a scooper, right? But when I say a bit of a scooper, what I mean is, that this guy is, he hates Hollywood, right? He hates like the entertainment media world. He really does. A lot of, I'd say kind of justifiable hatred on that particular front. But he says here, one of my writers just titled a doozy of just filed, I'm looking at the wrong page here. Just filed a doozy of a column about a certain someone. And then he posts a GIF of Affleck as Batman. So now people are running with the speculation that this could possibly be Ben Affleck returning as Batman in more content, right? Could it be Ben Affleck coming back in Brave and the Bold? I don't believe so. But that's all we got out of that one right there. So take that for what you will, but obviously he is teasing something and I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how you guys feel about that. It is definitely, it is just what it is. So there's that. And that's really all I got for today. I know a couple quick things to watch. But what I want to do you know what, we'll just do this real quick here. I'm just going to drop the link. If you guys, cause the kids don't have school tomorrow, so I can be on a little bit longer. Maybe we'll go like another half hour, kind of cut it at 1:45. But if anyone wants to come on and like give your thoughts about what's been happening recently or just whatever, want to ask a quick question, like one question, move on. We can do that real quick before we wrap it up. In the meantime, we'll take a look here at people as people want to file on in. We'll take a look at this Warhammer 40K short that Command Unit asked us to watch while people again are wanting to come on in. So if you want to, if not, we'll call it, we can do that. But yeah, so we'll just do this and then we'll get to people one question at a time. So this film is unofficial and there's no way endorsed by Games Workshop. There we go.
say again, assassin, what is the problem? Are you under attack? Is the other... Shoot the joints.
All right. That was interesting. Zombie robots, pretty cool. I agree with Command Unit. The music was really good. I do think that was really good. Thank you for that one there. Yeah, we'll check out your trailer before the end, Rational, since it's more action packed. But I did drop the link and only Zachary came in. So what's up, Zachary?
Oh, not much, Matt. What's up with you?
Chilling, man. Today's kind of just been an off day, weird, like just it's family sick. So,
Yeah, I know that feeling. I feel like I'm starting to get a cold myself, if you know.
Yeah, I understand. It's just that time of year.
Yeah. Fucking sucks.
So yeah. So what's on your mind?
Not much. Like with the Ben Affleck possibly coming back as Batman, my thought is like if that's the case, why didn't they just keep Henry Cavill on as Superman?
Well, I mean, I think again, you have to look at it from the perspective of like a couple different things with that. One is Henry like wasn't he was kind of like tacked on at the last minute, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I don't think they are going to keep him. I think he's going to direct the movie.
Yeah, I
Real
agree
pardon.
with that. I never, when I heard that, I really didn't think Ben Affleck was coming back anyways to play Batman.
No. But, I think if like maybe if the right thing had worked out, then potentially.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, I look at it and I just go like, yeah, Affleck, I think is moving away from a lot of that kind of stuff. I think he's moving away from a lot of those kind of roles. I think he just would rather focus on like smaller films, like more intimate films
Yeah.
versus anything else. That's how I take that right now.
Yeah. Also, earlier in the stream, I put an off-topic comment talking about the Flash movie. Said, wouldn't it be crazy if at the end of the Flash, after everything is reset as a side effect, Ezra Miller's Flash turns into Grant Gustin's Flash?
I mean, that would be interesting if they were able to pull that one off. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. And I'll tell you this, man. At this point, I don't. It's not that I don't care, because I do care. I don't really want to. I don't know. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Because it's just like, with like Ant-Man tomorrow. It's like I should be excited for it because I've seen the other ones. All right, we'll get to it when we get to it. Like it's just okay. Like
I'm still excited for the Ant-Man movie. I bought 9 fucking tickets. I better get my money's worth.
Well, Jesus Christ, why the fuck did you buy 9 tickets?
Because I got 9 people going.
Are they at least paying you back?
Yes, they are.
All right then. That's if you're like I bought 9 tickets and I am not asking for anything in return. No, fuck you. Get some money. If it sucks, get your money back.
Dude, what do you take me to for? A fucking moron?
I don't know. I don't know you. You could be.
I'm not.
You don't know me. I could be one too.
Yeah, that's true.
We all have our moron. I'm online a lot, so I have a lot of mistakes online. So there's that.
And speaking of like the Ant-Man movie and the critic score, I never really gave 2 shits about critic scores anyways for certain movies. Critics shit on Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, I thought King of the Monsters was great. Like I said, dude, critics, like, the thing with critics I find to be the most fascinating is that they're humans just like everybody else, right? So they've got certain things that might happen in their life are going to influence how they feel about something when they see it, and something could be happening in that day where they're not doing very well, or they're tired, they're upset, they're hungry, whatever. And so a movie doesn't land in a way that they wanted to, but the funny thing too about a lot of these critics and these bigger movies is like, you'll hear them say, oh, well, I've seen this movie 3 times now before it's opened. Like, okay, like, I mean, on that front, like if someone had gone and seen it 3 times before it opened, because they do a bunch of screenings in LA, right? Like when I flew down there for the Rise of Skywalker, the screening I went to was one of 3 different screenings that day, right? Like 2 were at the El Capitan Theater, which is where I saw it at. And then the other one was was it at like the Sony lot, I think? For some reason, they had it at the Sony lot, I think. It's just the screenings will happen in different places. Like there was a movie, that Devil's Pass movie I've talked about, the one that I did their social media work on a little bit. And when they wanted to screen that for me, originally they were like, hey, we want to do a screening. We're doing a screening at Warner Brothers. We want you to be there. Great. Oh, perfect. Nice. Like, awesome. So I'm like, okay, let me know when that is. And then they're like, well, we had to cancel that. So we'll just screen it for you in our boardroom, and you just come on in and watch it. And I was at a job that day. I was down like in South Central, teaching teachers how to like set up their new laptops that they'd got from this program, and whatever. And then I told my boss, I'm like, yo, I got to bail like a little early because I got to get back to Sherman Oaks to go and, do this other job. I didn't tell her what it was, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to go see this early release of a movie that I'm working on, Yeah,
they would have been like, the boss would have been like, no, fuck you. You're staying.
Yeah, pretty much. But like, she was cool about it. Let me out, ran up there, went to go see it. And then I told them, the problem was I told them exactly how I felt about the movie, but what I told them wasn't a lie. The next day they fired me, right? The next day they emailed me and they fired me. And, which is funny because on like another computer, it's probably junked at this point. I had all of their behind the scenes footage that they shot from Russia. They'd given me a hard drive with all of their behind the scenes stuff for me to review. And like, I was like, all right, cool. So I had all the footage still, and they never told me delete the footage. They never told me anything. I think they forgot that they gave it to me, and none of that stuff had even made it into like the movie anyway. So it was like, all right, fine. But, like even after that, they completely altered their schedule, what they wanted to do after they let me go. I think they realized the movie wasn't as good as it could have been. Not to say that it's all for me, but it's like, I think, pretty convincing stuff there.
They were thinking, oh shit, he was right. Why the fuck did we fire him?
Well, it's because at that point you have to spend a lot of money to go in and fix it. Yeah. And because the biggest problem with that is like the director of that movie was Rennie Harlin, who did like Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger, and like The Long Kiss Goodnight and Cutthroat Island. And I like this guy. Like I do. I'm a big fan of his work. So I was
Gonna
really
be,
excited. What?
gonna be honest. The only movie I saw that you named was Die Hard 2.
And look, Die Hard 2 is not as good as Die Hard 1, but it's a solid movie. It's a solid action adventure movie.
I'm partially fond of Live Free or Die Hard. I don't care what anybody else says.
I liked Live Free or Die Hard. I like the unrated version better. That was on the home video release. I like that better. But no, but I don't dislike Live Free or Die Hard. Do you know actually here this month I think is the 10th anniversary since A Good Day to Die Hard.
I only saw that one once.
Same here. I saw it when it came out. I saw it when it came out, and I was all
I
like,
don't
"Oof!"
think I saw it when it came out. I think I saw it on like either it was like Stars, HBO, or whatever the fuck.
Oh, we had it at the drive-in because I had just moved. It was right after I left LA and I moved back home, and I was going to the drive-in all the time because I'm like, well, I don't have any money, and they're gonna let me in for free because I fucking spent all those years working here, and I fucking know everybody, and there's like they won't tell me no because they'll be held to pay. And then I ended up getting a job back there again for 2 years. So, you know, I developed the YouTube career that has led me to, you know, like living in the woods in Washington, being a fucking hermit, talking about movies and shit. But
Shitting on Sil Abdul and Skywalker and Zod Rider.
yeah, I should probably back off of doing that a little bit, right? I thought that I should probably back off of that a bit. Those guys are like
taking away the fun from your channel.
Well, no, what I thought about doing is like, because I don't want to do it every night, right? I don't want to shit on them every night because that gets to be a little bit old.
That's fair enough.
There's
still always the critical drinker and the rest of the Phantom Menace.
Absolutely. And just like we've just scratched the surface of the critical drinker, which holy shit.
Holy fuck, I remember watching that video. I think I fell asleep before that.
I can't say I
didn't even get to finish hearing that video of his. He put me to sleep. He's so fucking stupid.
It was so bad. But I was thinking about like relegating, like spending like one day a month, like the end of the month, doing a Chud watch. Like the whole episode is a Chud watch. And we just go through like all the shit for the month, you know, like the highlights of the shit for the month, like Doomcock, critical drinker, things like that. And just laugh at their stupid lunacy.
How long do you think until like Sil, Skywalker, Zod Rider, and the rest of the clown table just let it go and just accept the fact that the Snyderverse is dead?
So the reality of it is they won't. And the reason why for that is because what they'll argue in general is as long as Zack's characters are still in play, the Snyderverse is still on. So, you know, like Ezra, if they do a Flash 2, right? And Ezra's there. Ezra was a Zack hire. That means the Snyderverse can continue. You know, if Ben Affleck is somehow still involved, that means the Snyderverse can still continue. It doesn't matter what it is. Like they're going to find a way.
Was Zachary Levi as Shazam a Zack Snyder idea?
No, that was all done through New Line Cinema.
All right.
And that was again, like The Rock had a part, you know, he had a say in that way. What I find to be the funniest thing about The Rock on that front, and this isn't like shitting on him, is like he took credit for it and then distanced himself completely from it, right? Like he took credit, you know, for the first Shazam opening, pretty good. I think opened number 1, you know, and everything else back in 2019, good, you know, whatever. But then like after that, like he never did anything with that. Like it literally was not until Comic-Con of this last year when they had Black Adam in the Shazam panel that Dwayne The Rock Johnson actually met the kids from Shazam. So he was a producer on the movie, right? He took credit for the movie when it came out in 2019.
But then when it came time for Black Adam, he didn't want Shazam to have any part of it. Right?
Yeah, pretty much, because he wanted Superman. He was gunning for Superman in 2019. That's what he wanted, because he realized that like Black Adam is a Shazam villain, but Shazam played by Zachary Levi is not going to be a compelling fight. You know what I mean? Like if you go back to 2017 and you look at, let's say, Fast and Furious 8, right? Like I love The Fate of the Furious. I think it's a fun
I
movie.
really, I like a lot. I like almost all of the Fast and Furious movies. I even like Tokyo Drift.
The
Saggy.
Yeah, probably the worst Fast and Furious movie is the second one. And even
I
then,
still even like that one.
that was directed by John fucking Singleton, you know? And so you're like, all right, John Singleton's great, you know, Boys in the Hood, fucking Higher Learning, Shaft, and everything else, you know?
Did you?
And
I saw these. Speaking of the Fast movies, I saw this thing on. I saw these like things on Twitter. Vin Diesel wants Robert Downey Jr. in Fast 11 to play to play a villain, promoting like AI and driverless cars.
doesn't surprise me.
I'd actually see that.
So it doesn't surprise me at all that could be that could happen. I mean, look, those movies make money, right? They make
Yeah.
money. They have a diehard fan base. They've been around longer than the MCU, you know, and they have half as many movies, to be fair. But going
Still,
back to what I was saying though about Fast 8 was when the big takeaway from The Fate of the Furious was Hobbs and Shaw, right? Dwayne the Rock
yeah.
Johnson and Jason Statham had really, really good fucking chemistry on that movie. Like to
Yeah.
the point of where there was a demand when that movie came out to like do a Hobbs and Shaw spinoff, which we got. And the thing with that is like, so that was 2017 is when that movie came out, meaning they shot it in 2016. And then I'm looking at that and I'm just going like, that was right around the time The Rock started getting this fucking ego thing going on, you know? Like really right around that time. So what I wonder is, you know, when Hobbs and Shaw dropped in 2019, that was also around not long after Shazam had come out. And all the, you know, everything with DC was in flux and everything was crazy and it was all sorts of nutty. And then I'm just wondering to myself, is this a scenario where he looked at, like, he basically just goes, I can't fight Shazam. I can't fight Shazam on my own because that's not going to be a fight worthy of him. And I think if that's real, and again, I'm speculating, but I would say that's kind of a valid concept.
Yeah. I'm guessing Zachary Levi probably shouldn't have left Marvel, huh?
Well, they killed this character off.
Yeah. But then again, if they ever brought that character back via multiverse, which I doubt, Zachary Levi wasn't the original actor that played him.
That's true. It's Josh Dallas, and Josh Dallas is no longer on Manifest because that's out and over, I think, on Netflix. H Bar's here for 5. Thank you. Says The Rock tries to take Vin Diesel franchise. Fuck the Rick.
The Rick.
The Rick. H Bars also says here, I could see The Rock burning all bridges. I could see that too. To be fair, I could really see that as well. I do think though that where we find ourselves just in as a whole with all this stuff is like, you know, just movies in general right now. It feels like all that's out there, all that gets the attention are all of these, you know, like just these bigger budget movies because they've got the budget for the marketing. So that's what we largely see. And the conversation online is usually about what a superhero thing is. Oftentimes, you know, or some big tentpole. We're just not seeing much out of like these smaller films until maybe they hit Netflix or Amazon or something or Disney Plus or Hulu. And they're able to hit a splash on streaming. And then that gets people talking about it. But again, with that, you know, the problem with that is that there's so many fucking movies that come out all the time. So many smaller movies that come out. You know how many, I get a lot of emails about these movies too.
Mm.
And like, but the thing is though, I'll get these emails and it's like, there's no trailer attached. Right. Or it's just like, it's dropping on some streaming channel that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And you're like, I understand like the why, but it's like, man, what I don't get, if I was looking for these companies, fuck, even if I was working for like A24, you know, I would be out there going like, okay, who can we talk to? Who can we, because you like, here's the thing with The Walking Dead, right? The Walking Dead, and I've mentioned this before, The Walking Dead, when that show came out, a couple guys started a podcast. I forget what it's called, but it was like, you know, talking about The Walking Dead, not The Talking Dead, but talking about The Walking Dead. And, you know, Greg Nicotero from the show, who was just a special effects supervisor at that point in time before becoming showrunner, had reached out to them. And then through that, relationship, they got to know the crew, the cast, the writers, and become this unofficial vehicle to communicate with fans. And that led them to like get a lot of popularity and to be kind of like the lightning rod, at least the in my opinion, the voice of like the average fan outside of like the Talking Dead, which, you know, largely sucked. Well, I'd say the only reason why I say like the Talking Dead sucked is because it doesn't need to be an hour.
Wasn't
know-
Talking Dead just a talk show talking about The Walking
Yeah, it was
Dead?
all like spend an hour watching The Walking Dead, then tune in to Chris Hardwick on The Talking Dead, where we talk about the episode. And it's like,
Yeah, it's just like, why?
yeah, it was the Walking Dead cast. Is that what it was? Okay. Yeah, but those guys did really well. You know what I mean? Like they've done pretty well. At this point, I would sit there and say like these movies, you know, part of what they should do is like look around online, find people. If it's a horror movie, find horror podcasts, of which there are innumerous horror podcasts you can find. Reach out to those guys, set up an interview or give them a trailer, something early, give them, you know, whatever, right? Toss them something early. Allow them to have that exclusive, because quite frankly, if you're a smaller movie, going to like, you know, trying to get the trades, Deadline, Variety, you know, Hollywood Reporter to write about this shit. All three of those companies are all under the same fucking banner of Penske Media. So it's like, again, they're looking at what's going to be like the most advantageous for their brand. And they deal with the big studios. They break all that information. So really, you're just like, all right, like go to the smaller guys, go to find a YouTube channel that talks about horror movies and be like, you want to talk to the fucking actor in the movie? You know, imagine if like just you, and then just do that a little bit and then start building out the fan base of like, you know, like that's the thing that people in Terrifier are doing.
Still haven't seen Terrifier.
It's good. It's good. But they will like, you know, they're on Twitter. They talk to fans all the time. You know, and like the fans find them on Twitter and like they interact and shit. Like when, you know, the movie Fat Man with Mel Gibson,
never saw it.
It's good. Like, you know, I came across the director of that on Twitter and cause I had talked about Fat Man, how good it was. And, you know, he actually followed me on Twitter. I followed him back and we talk occasionally, you know, because I was talking positively about his movie and they wanted to try to get the word out. Do you know the co-creator of The Simpsons? One of the co-creators of The Simpsons follows me on Twitter.
I did not.
And the reason why he does is not because of The Simpsons, but because he also co-created fucking F is for Family.
Nice.
Which is like, I think the funniest goddamn show on Netflix. But I talked about it in a video and he liked what I had to say. So he followed me and we chit chat occasionally.
Nice.
You know? And so it's just like, it's not, I understand that these guys are creatives, that these guys have a job, that this is what they do. But in this day and age, when you are up against an algorithm, when you are up against all of this shit, and you're trying to figure out the best way to get your project seen and talked about, that's how you have to do it. You know, like you can't just sit back and like wait for it to happen. But a lot of these movies, like they don't put any money into marketing, and you don't even need to spend any money on marketing. You could really just go and or spend minimal money on marketing. Find a podcast and offer them $50 to run a fucking promo before a fucking episode.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Just do that. Go
Yeah.
directly to them. If someone came to me, like I'll pay, because I mean, for Podio commentary, you know, there's been people who have been who want to like sponsor an episode. And I'm like, all right, you know, like for people who are on HWAD or whatever, like if you guys want me to sponsor an episode, like $50 is like basically it. Because it takes me like 7 hours to do an episode. You know, I know, right? That sounds long. It sounds long, right? It takes 7 fucking hours, like 6 to 7 hours on average. You know why? Research, watching, recording, editing, uploading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It takes a while because I have to go in. Now, granted, with the new Chat GPT that I've got through Bing, it allows me to use the internet and like that's going to help out, but still it takes a lot of time. Like last night, for example, for the My Bloody Valentine episode, after doing the 3.5 hour stream, I recorded that one. And for some reason, I was tired. I had the energy to start it, but then
no wonder you're tired today.
I'm exhausted today. But it's like I had the energy I thought to start it. You know, I'm like, yeah, I can do this thing. Took me an
Let's
hour
do
and
this.
it took me an hour and 10 minutes to record the episode because I just kept fucking up.
It took you how long?
An hour and 10 minutes to record the episode. And then I had to go through and edit it down to 40 minutes. And even I'm like, some of this shit's probably going to suck. It's not my best episode. I thought I nailed the parts I wanted to nail. But like, you know, it was a script I wrote like a month ago. So I was trying to like, it helps when I write them and like I can get to it faster. So the information's more fresh. So it was still a good movie. I still enjoyed it. I don't know if anyone's like listened to it, you know, talked about it, whatever, but that's how a lot of this stuff goes is it takes time. And so you got to like, you know, get into it and shit. Real quick here. We did got, HWAD for 5. Thank you. Says, I was on board for Black Adam until he screwed Cavill over. So fuck him. I mean, it was a business play to fuck, you know, it wasn't like he tried to fuck over Cavill, but I think at the end of it, he kind of, you know, he didn't help. So
Could have at least taken him to dinner first.
well, to be fair, Cavill got $500,000.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of horror movies, didn't Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey come out already?
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey had a Fathom event screening tonight, I think. So it was just one. It was just one night only, I believe. And I know William from the Sci-Fi Center in L.A. He went to go see it, and he did not care for it. He said that it sucked in the best way possible.
Oh,
So
goody.
yeah, they showed it. They showed it one time at my theater tonight, and it had. Wonder if I could see the. I can't see the tickets, but they only played it. Yeah, at Century in Olympia, and then the Century in Federal Way, which is like 37 miles away from my place. So you know, I'll see this when this comes out, but it's like. You know, it's the thing with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is that this is a kind of movie that it's making its way simply because of the idea of what it is, right? It's a horror movie take on Winnie the Pooh because it went into the public domain.
Yeah.
You know?
And the director decided to ruin everybody's childhood.
Well, I think that's kind of like, you know, that's kind of a little bit.
I asked my brother if he was planning on seeing these movies. He said no because I don't know. He's just like, why? Why would you do this?
Well, I mean, it's like, but you know, they're also doing Winnie the Pooh. They're doing Winnie the Pooh. God, I'm getting tired. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. They're already developing that.
Jesus
And
Christ.
they're doing like Peter Pan, like a Neverland, like horror movie, like Neverland Nightmare. And then Bambi the Reckoning. Yeah. Right. So you're like, they're taking these clearly, you know, classical tales that are popularized by Disney, and they're in the public domain. So they're just going to fuck with them. And you know what? Listen, here's the good or bad. That's awesome. Fuck with it all you want. It's in the public domain. Fuck with it. Who cares? Right.
Also,
Like-
away from the public domain, ruining childhoods, my opinion.
But how does it ruin your how does it ruin your childhood? It doesn't take it away. That's the thing I don't get. Is it doesn't take away your childhood.
Some people will never look at the old Winnie the Pooh movies the same, Matt.
Those people need fucking serious therapy then. Because I'm serious. Like if you're like, oh my God, I can't watch Winnie the Pooh because there's a horror movie that made fun of it. Like fuck cares? There's horror movies about Santa Claus.
Yeah, I know that. Here's a question for you. If they did a horror movie about the Lorax, would you go watch that?
Yes. Because that would be better than that shitty ass animated movie. That would be if they, you know, if they have a short.
Man, how bad could it be?
It'd be better than the animated movie. Like it just by the sheer definition alone of a Lorax horror movie, which is not in the public domain, but still like a Dr. Seuss inspired, you know, it could be the Horax. How about that? Right. You make it a fucking softcore parody. The Horax. All right.
What,
Instead of
going to be a female now?
I'm the Horax and I speak for the trees that look like guys on their knees, knees that eat my pussy and plum. And they be sure to stick my ass on their thumb.
The Horax.
The
played
Horax.
by Adriana Chechik.
There you go. Yeah. Complete with the new water sports section in 3D.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm
Works with the
just
water fountain, but damn, I bet she gives good head.
I don't know. I'll tell you what I feel. I feel really bad for her actually after that accident at TwitchCon.
Oh, wait, what happened?
So she was at TwitchCon because she left the adult entertainment industry and she actually decided to become a streamer.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And so she was up there and she fell like right on her back, like on her tailbone,
Ooh.
right on concrete. Like it's basically concrete. Like it was like one layer of foam, real bad. And they had to take her she basically broke her back. She had to go get surgery. Turns out she found out she was pregnant.
Ooh.
And she lost the baby.
Oh.
TwitchCon is going to pay out a fuck ton of money.
Damn.
A fuck ton of money for that. And it happened at the San Diego Convention Center, which is where Comic-Con is at.
I would expect them to.
So, you know, anyway, Commandant here for 2, thank you, says, I only watched the Soviet version of the Lorax. In Soviet Russia, Lorax speaks for you. Because you are the trees, the product of consumption under under communism. Anyway, Spirit Commander says the Lorax with the hard X. Goddamn right. Jess here says Matt's going to be hired to write and direct porn. I mean, like, if it paid well.
Maybe you'd make the acting more interesting.
Yeah. I need to really listen. So in this scene, Axel here is going to pull out of your ass, but he's going to pull out at such an alarming rate that's going to catch you by surprise. And I need just the biggest, widest eyed, widest mouth, gaping expression of, oh my God, ever. Now, but trust me when I say that it's intrinsic to the plot. So, all right.
Is he gonna pull out of the girl's ass and is she gonna frost the cameraman like a fucking cake?
It'd be a shitty ass cake, dude. That's what happened. You know,
you ever see
pretty shitty.
You ever see Zach and Mary?
Yeah, I've seen Zach and Mary make a porno.
I'll tell you what happened. She frosted me like a fucking cake.
Yeah, that was Jeff Anderson, right?
I think so. I don't know. I'm not totally familiar with every actor.
Oh, I gotta watch it again. It's been a while. Oh, okay. Oh, Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh is what he's talking about there. He's watched the Soviet version of Winnie the Pooh. I don't know what that could be, but I should check that one out. And then HRC over 5 things says, I'm the Lorax, I speak for the trees, litter again, and I'll break your fucking knees. Yeah. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm gonna ask AI, can you write me a version of the Lorax named the Horax, which is a woman who is a
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Matt, I gotta go wake my brother up.
Okay. Who helps men in need. I don't think so. H Bars, you left a super chat about Kevin Feige. I missed that one. Let me show you. Oh, right. Sorry, here we go. Sorry, H Bars here says if he went to Marvel, this would be The Rock. Feige and him are gonna butt heads. Yeah, that's very true. He's gonna go in there and he's gonna want to get more than he can get.
I kind of want Zachary Levi to go back to Marvel to play Wonder Man. I know apparently they already got an actor that Yahya Abdul-Mateen. I think I butchered his name.
Yeah,
the guy that played Black Manta in Aquaman.
As well as Dr. Manhattan.
I think that guy should have been the one they used as the recasted T'Challa.
He would have been really good. They should have done that. I did ask. So Microsoft.
But then again, I liked Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I was gonna go see it again in theaters, like a second time, but shit just didn't play out. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. What is it? I'm looking at this one here. So I asked this AI to write the Horax, right? And it says, I'm sorry, but I cannot write you a version of the Lorax named the Horax, which is a woman who is a prostitute which helps men in need. That would be disrespectful and offensive to women, sex workers, and Dr. Seuss's original story. However, I can write you a version of the Lorax named the Florax, which is about a woman who is a florist who helps people in need.
Jesus Christ. AI has morals. What the fuck?
Yeah, hold on. Here he is. The Florax. At the far end of the town where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of lifting lorries. And the deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Florax once stood, just as long as she could, before somebody lifted her lorry away. What was the Florax, and why was she there? And why was she lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The whole fucking thing. The whol fucking thing. They literally redid the whole thing. That's so dumb. There's a way around that. Yeah, I'm not on Chat GTP, so I know there's like the Dan, the Dan thing you can do. I'm on the Microsoft Edge Bing search thing. That's a little bit different. Let's see. Yeah, Kevin, can you speak with a Russian accent? The Rock, niet. But all right, so yeah, because it is getting up on 11:45, and I am just gonna go pass out. But there was this trailer here that that Rational had wanted us to check out. It's 2:42. It's gonna wind the show down. So let's see what this is.
Yeah, I think I've taken up enough of your time, so I'm gonna get going.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
I'll see ya.
See ya.
Death will come to all of us. Especially soldiers. You give your life away so others will live. And take life where only God can give it.
What the hell are they doing here?
Oh wow, Forward Unto Dawn?
Compound that kills humans and nothing else.
Medical says they've never seen anything like it.
Covenant's found the Holy Grail then, haven't they?
It's time to take the war to them.
Be a bold move. Send a team in, destroy the stuff.
I hear you need a ship.
Only work better alone.
Shouldn't fear me. I'm just one man.
One man that was a Spartan. Ready to go to hell, Colonel?
You know, I actually never watched this.
Never
Right.
thought we'd set foot on the Halo ring.
Are we really doing this?
Stay on mission.
Got something.
What the hell are they?
We will not go out like this.
My question to you, Commander Locke. How will you lead? And for what?
Oh, Nightfall. Right, there was Forward Unto Dawn and Nightfall. I didn't see any of those, sadly enough. I need to, but I didn't see any of them. Yeah, I want him to come back as Luke Cage as well, buddy. 100%. It's yeah. Halo season 2 would be great though. But all right, guys. Here's the thing: is still live over on Max's channel, talking with Enosh and Nicotina and Saggy and stuff. So if y'all want to head over there, I might pop in for a quick second while waiting for this thing to kind of wind down. But I'll talk to you guys later. I should be on tomorrow night. I'll talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, spoiler free, of course. And have a good night, everybody. I'll talk to you later. And peace out.